To understand what's underneath this building, hooked up to these big towers, you have to understand what things used to be like.
Good evening, my fellow citizens.
In 1962, Cuba was like this close to attacking us.
A series of offensive missile sites is now in preparation on that imprisoned island.
The U.S. government needed to prepare for the worst, so they built something down in the basement at the transmitter for WBT radio off of Nations Ford Road.
You were in the 1963 fallout shelter that was built during the Cuban Missile Crisis.
This is Jerry Dowd, WBT's chief engineer.
The theory behind this was that should there be an event, that this would be protected and we would be able to broadcast from it.
The government did the same thing at several radio stations across the country. WBT is one of the oldest and the most powerful. At night, you can still hear its signal up and down the East Coast, from Cuba to Canada.
You keep something like this and hope you never need it.
But this studio, surrounded by a lot of concrete, peeling paint, knobs, wires, clocks, and reels, doesn't seem real.
No, this is real.
And so is all of this stuff.
We would turn this mic switch on and we would say, hello folks, how are you today? We have a Sunday morning church service just in case we needed one. I have the radiological handbook in my hand. Oh look, we have the briar hoppers.
And, wait for it.
So here's the most important device we have.
Wait for it.
Instant toilet.
Because if, say, a nuclear attack happened and you had to tell the world about it, you might be down here for a while.
The theory was after 30 days that the dust would settle and you could go back outside.
Turns out, Cuba knew all about WBT.
We were not one of Fidel Castro's friends because we used to do something called Radio Liberty. We sent propaganda back to Cuba each evening on WBT during that time of crisis.
And, according to Jerry, some of Cuba's missiles were pointed at us.
They would set a little device in the missile that would home in on different radio frequencies, and 1110 in Charlotte happened to be one of the frequencies they were planning on homing in on.
Now, believe it or not, all of this stuff still works.
We could actually use it.
Not that you would, of course. The federal government has built something new at WBT.
The new millennium version of the fallout shelter does exist.
Which begs the question, can we see it?
No.
In a basement off of Nations Ford Road, Jeremy Markovich, NBC Charlotte.